Alright, today I'm going to teach you how to play Slide Blast. This is a really fun game for 2 to 6 players from Foxmind. It is a tile laying, route building game that plays in about 15 to 20 minutes. And the theme is that you are building a super fun water park slide. Really, really cool theme. I really like it. And I will explain how to play now. So at the start of the game, we have 2 different sets of tiles. We have blue back tiles and we have yellow back tiles. The yellow ones are special, so we like to separate them from the game. I'll explain more about how those work in just a second. We also have our characters, which have cool little sliding meeples that correspond to their colors. So whichever players are playing, you take the piece, you place it on the appropriate spot on the board. The purple guy goes on the purple spot, and that's, they're going down the slide. So let's see, we also have gray over here, and white over there, or whatever, so on and so forth. Okay, so all the players that have their pawns out on the board take their cards in front of them. On the back, there's a little scoring reference, which I will get to in just a minute. But at the start of the game, everybody is going to take one of these blue tiles, which will always have slides essentially depicted on them. And you take one of the blue tiles in your hand. Everybody starts with one in their hand. And on your turn, you draw a new one, and then you can choose either one of the 2 tiles to play. Now, when you play a tile, you have to play on a path that would extend your person out. So I can't just play it anywhere I want. It has to play making myself move in one way or another. And a few other little golden rules. You can never play a tile that would make you crash into another player or create some kind of infinite loop. You also cannot ever loop back to the starting tile. This is the starting tile. It's also a little neat because the important tiles are all really thick, a lot thicker than the standard tiles. So anyways, on your turn, you play a tile, and then you move your slider, and you go whee, and then that's your turn. You will see also that turn I drew one of these tiles. There are a few special tiles. This is a high-speed tile, and you can tell by these little red dashes next to it. I pulled out just a few. Normally these are all just shuffled in, but I just pulled some of these out to show you that there's, what they look like. So if you ever play a high-speed tile, let's say if I played that first, if you play a high-speed tile, you move just like normal, but then you also get to draw another tile, and then again, from your 2 tiles, you basically get an extra, like a free turn, basically. So then you place your next tile, and then you keep sliding, whee, and you keep going. Now, if you had played another tile as a high speed at that point, you don't get another subsequent turn. That's basically, it just acts like a regular tile at that point, and then your turn is over. So once you've made your move, it goes to the next player's turn, and I'm just going to put this there. Okay. So it goes to the next player's turn, and then the same thing. They have their hand, and then they draw another tile, and they keep going. There are a few other special tiles that I want to point out. There are these big giant tiles here. These are really cool attractions. So when one of these tiles, obviously you cannot draw this randomly, but they're all represented on these thin tiles that are also blue back, so they get shuffled into this deck like normal. So if you have one of these tiles in your hand, you can choose when you play it, you don't actually put this down. Instead, you grab the corresponding feature, and then you place it anywhere on the board, again, in a way that that you move your pawn, and that other people are also make sure that nobody gets in any kind of sticky situations where they run back into the starting tile. Remember, that's a no-no. So in this scenario, if I place this here, my gray player is going to move, whee, and I also am moving the white player because the white player's tile slide is extended. Whee. At the end of the game, we count how many tiles we've passed through, and every tile that you go through is going to earn you a point. Even if you were to like loop back through a tile, you still count it again as a point. So you would have like 1, 2, 3, and then if you loop back, actually let's just put this right here to show. So if white were to go here, that'd be you count the starting tile as well. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though we've already gone through this tile, it's every time you hit a tile you score points. So that would be 5 points essentially for white in this scenario. So why do you want to move other people? Well, anytime you get to move somebody else on their slide, you're giving them a point, but you get a bonus chip. And there's a few bonus chips here. They have different artwork on them, but they're just superfluous. There's no difference between an ice cream cone and a puppy or a rubber ducky or a beach ball. They all are bonus chips. And as I mentioned, the scoring track here, the bonus scoring at the end of the game, depending on how many bonus chips you have, those are how many bonus points you're going to get. So 1 chip gets you 1 extra point, all the way up to 5 or more chips gets you 15 points. So it is beneficial to move other people on their slide. Even though you're giving them points, you potentially are getting yourself points. And if you had moved multiple people with a tile, you would get multiple bonus chips depending on how many people you move. So those are the special attraction tiles that I mentioned there. There's also another special blue tile here. This is a tunnel tile. If you ever draw this and you play it, you place it again however you like. Let's say this is the purple player's turn. Purple is going to go wee, and you see this tile is numbered. So this is number. So this is the tunnel tile. Whenever this gets played, there's a special tunnel exit tile, which is a yellow back, so it's kept off to the side. So the tunnel exit tile can be played somewhere on the board, but it can only touch a single side. So this is valid. This would not be valid because this touches more than one side. And it also cannot touch the entrance, the tunnel entrance tile. And for the rest of the game, nobody can connect their slide to this exit tile. So again, those golden rules: you can't connect to the start, you can't bash into somebody else, and you also cannot connect to this. So let's just say I place this slide right here, and gray went down the number 1. You see these are numbered. So then gray would pop out the number 1 over here. And it doesn't matter how many tiles you move the other player, because that was purple's move. So purple played on 6. Purple pops out on 6 over here. It doesn't matter how many tiles you move them, you still just get 1 bonus chip for every person that you moved. So those are the tunnel entrance and exit tiles. The last little rule is it's likely not going to happen, but if you ever get in this position where you have no possible way to play a tile that would extend your person and not crash into somebody else and not go back to the starting tile, whatever it is, there are these lifeguard tiles, so these will save you. There's 2 sets of them, the red and the blue, doesn't really matter. There's one thick and there's one thin. So you take the thin one and that's your entrance. So again, you would just place it on the board wherever you like. The person would go into there, and then again the exit tile again gets placed somewhere. Nothing can connect to the exits. You can't connect back to the exits. Sorry, you can't like run through the exit basically, so I can't go like this. But let's say I wanted to go, I cannot connect back to the starting. Let's say I was going right here. So that was number 3. Yeah, so let's say I set that up like that. So white would go through here and then pop out over here. Whee! And just in case we're keeping track again for score, so that'd be for white by the end of the game. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points essentially in that set. The game is over whenever the entire draw stack is empty and your hand is empty. Once that happens, once everybody's played their last slide tile, then the game is over. What we do is we put everybody back to their starting position on the board, and then we all go down our slides, and we count how many tiles we go through. That's the last time that we actually keep track of score. Then we also count our bonus chips, and whoever has the highest score wins. If there's a tie, whoever has the most bonus chips wins. And if it's a tie, then you just share in a victory. I also should probably mention that the first player is the last person to visit a theme park. So that is a good reason for you to get out to your local amusement park or go down some slides. All right, that's all. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks. Bye.